Hi, everybody. I have a special guest to introduce you to. His name is Sterlin Barkley. He is the founder of AlphaBride. Let me tell you a little bit about AlphaBride. Uh, Basically, AlphaBride is a really cool online platform that connects wedding planners to couples, but not just any couples. As you know, wedding planners usually can book around the 30% of couples who are getting married. But what happens to that 70% of people who are getting married, but they don't even consider hiring a wedding planner because they think that it's not something that they can even afford? So what I love about Alpha Bride is it connects our wedding planners to those couples, those 70% of couples who would never even considered us in the first place. But not only that, but it gives us an opportunity. Alpha Bride gives them an opportunity to earn money through AlphaBride, just for helping the couples find wedding professionals that can do a really great job for them on the wedding day. So what I'd like to do now is kind of, introduce you to Sterling, have you guys get to know him, and tell us a little bit about himself. So Sterling, welcome, and tell us a little bit about you and your background and how you even came up with this incredibly awesome idea.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Laurie, for helping to put this together and having me on. So I got my start in weddings as a videographer. So a good friend of mine, Joseph Stovall, owned a company called Atlanta Media Works, and he hired me to come out and help with some of the weddings that he was filming at the time. And I worked with him for a little more than a year. And at some point I branched out, started my own company. And he taught me well. So I was fortunate to sustain a career that spanned over a period of 10 to 12 years. And obviously, I got a chance to work with a lot of wedding couples, a lot of planners, a lot of vendors. And like with anything that you do for that long of a time, you start to see different patterns emerging. And for me, one of the things that constantly repeated itself was I became extremely familiar with the stress and the pressure that couples were under in regards to finding ways to afford their weddings and the services associated with those weddings. And in becoming, familiar with those problems, I also had to face and become a little more intimately connected with problems that I faced as a vendor, because I needed to respond to some of these requests that they were making as it relates to discounts on the prices of the services that I was offering. And eventually I realized that, in hindsight, I realized that if I was facing some of the problems in regards to knowing exactly how to present better pricing to couples, or how to make sure that I wasn't offering a discount but not giving something appealing enough to keep them from going to another vendor. Those were all of the things that kind of took place at that time. So anyway, it was throughout the course of that journey that I began to develop small ideas to help address some of these issues. And at some point, those ideas collided and formed a larger idea. And I decided to build a company around it to help solve those problems for vendors and for couples. So that's a little bit about how I got started in the wedding industry and where the idea for AlphaBride came from.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And, because as we go through the wedding industry, as wedding professionals, we do always see a lot of issues that we were like, gosh, I wish I could fix that. Or I wish I could find a way to kind of fill that gap. And the fact that you found it and then just really went after it with everything that you had, that you have so much passion for AlphaBride, and it's contagious. And when you approached me a year ago, I absolutely just saw the potential for something really wonderful. And I appreciate the fact that you have, kind of come to me for some guidance and advice, because you really I love the fact that you really revolved AlphaBride around wedding planners, and you see the benefit of wedding planners. And because of that, it got me really excited about everything you've built. So let me kind of break down for everybody what the process is with AlphaBride so that you have a really good understanding. So basically, you as the wedding planner would register to be on the AlphaBride platform. And when you do that, you will also be uploading, some of your preferred vendors, your photographers, your DJs, your videographers, some bands, and you will kind of just set up your account. Now, in the meantime, couples are going on and logging on to AlphaBride, and they instantly see a little window that pops up that says you get a free 30-minute consultation with a certified wedding planner. And so since we as wedding planners, that's what we do, is we have consultations with our clients. Then the couple will see an array of really phenomenal wedding planners in their area. They select one that they think would connect really well with them. And then you get notice of it as the wedding planner, and you schedule a 30-minute consultation. And during that 30-minute consultation, you want to get to know this couple. You want to kind of walk them through the process that AlphaBride provides. And you're going to figure out kind of what kind of wedding planner are they really, or wedding that they're really looking for. What types of professionals are they looking for? And then the next step would be for the couple to fill out a form. Let's say they're looking for a photographer. They'd fill out a form, they'd answer these questions, and then you guys can go from there. So once they filled out the form, you can unlock your photographer's preferred vendors list, and your couple then chooses some vendors that they are interested in. And then at that point, what happens is these vendors get notice that they have some couples that are interested in them, and then they get to submit bids. So they can say, yeah, I can do that service. I have that date available, and I'm willing to do it for this price. Then eventually the couple decides who they want to go with. And the couple puts down a deposit, and then the wedding planner gets paid. So you are basically earning money for kind of reviewing the form that they filled out, and then making sure that they're hooked up with a wedding professional that can do a really great job for them. So you're getting paid to work that out. And so it's a much quicker process than in our regular wedding planning lives. I'll be honest with you, it's pretty quick. But that's the whole point of AlphaBride, is because the 70% of couples who normally wouldn't have even hired wedding planners, they're wanting to just find a vendor, let's get them hired, let's get this going. So this really allows the wedding planners to earn money from those couples that would never have even been considering our services. The cool thing is you get the contact information from, for these couples. So you can always contact them, separately, and give them your packages, or set up an additional consultation to talk about possibly hiring you to be a month of coordinator, or a full planning service, because you never know. Maybe they just didn't realize how affordable you really are. So there's always that opportunity, but your 30-minute consultation that you're giving them really kind of, you'll be explaining the AlphaBride platform, how it works, and you'll be walking them through a lot of the process, and maybe answering a couple of questions for them too, because you're a nice person. So let's do this. So the first step for the wedding planner is to, of course, get your account set up. So I think it would be a really great thing for Sterlin to kind of walk you through, as a wedding planner, how to even set up your account. So I'm going to pass it back over to Sterlin, and he's going to walk you through the steps from the home page of alphabride.com to setting up your account. So Sterlin, I'll pass everything back over to you.
Awesome. So it's really simple to get everything up and running. And what we want to do right now is demonstrate what that process looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
And I think once they see how easy this whole thing is, it's going to be very, very simple. They'll love knowing step by step what to do here.
Okay. All right. So this is the home screen of AlphaBride. But what we want to do, the quickest way to get started, is to just click the Get Started for Free button up at the top of the header. And so what we'll do at this point is we will go ahead and start to enter in some of the information that's being asked on the screen. And I'm not the fastest typer. I apologize for that.
Well, it's okay. We'll forgive you for that.
All right, and what we want to do at this point is just go ahead and click continue. And so here what we want to do is we want to list the city in which you provide the services. So for us, we're in Atlanta, so we'll go ahead and select Atlanta here. And then you want to enter your password. So down at the bottom, this is very important. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we select Wedding Professional. So we want to go ahead and click Next. And then just here in the drop-down menu, you want to make sure that you select Wedding Planner. So we'll do that. And we'll go ahead and X out of this. So basically at this point, we'll go ahead and fill out the information. And again, this is very straightforward. And so here, we want to talk about this. So you want to make sure that as a wedding planner, you set your miles radius to 100 miles. So that's going to give you access to a larger number of brides. And then we'll click Next. So what we want to do here is we just want to read through some of the requirements. We just want to verify that you're an active wedding planner and that you're licensed to do business in your state. And then once you confirm that information, you want to go ahead and click Next. And then here what we're doing is we're asking you to connect to one of your social media accounts. What we're going to do is we're going to connect with one of the Gmail accounts that we have. So give me just a moment. Okay, and then we want to click Next. So all of your planners are certified, Laurie. So what we do at this point is you just want to click, yes, I am a certified wedding planner. And then there's a video that helps to explain what comes up next. So we'll skip the video for right now. I'll actually walk you through some of the information that you need as it relates to setting up your network. So we'll go ahead and press continue. So this is the portion of the registration process where we're asking the wedding planner to set up her vendor network. And before we go into that, what I'm going to do is I just want to quickly go over the composition of the page so you'll know exactly what we're looking at. So right now we're under the instructions tab. So let me just tab over to the levels tab, and this will allow me to break the page down for you. So up at the very top of the screen, what you see are 4 icons. And these icons are indicative of the services that we make available through our platform. So as you can see, we have photography, videography, DJs, and live bands. So these are the categories under which you can set up your network. The next section of the screen, so this is the section in which you will assign vendors to your network. And the way that we handle the building of the network is all of your vendors are categorized by levels. So as you'll see here, we have level 3, level 2, and level 1. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on levels, but essentially what we're doing is we're asking you to list the vendors with whom you have the strongest relationship with first. So those are going to be vendors in level 3. Vendors of a lesser relationship, you want to list them in level 2. And then level 1 are going to be vendors where the relationship is new and not as strong as those in the first 2 categories. And then down at the bottom section of the page, this is the directory from which you can browse and assign vendors to your network. So we'll move along, and if we have any other questions, perhaps we'll make a video to kind of go a little more in detail. But what we'll do at this point is we'll just start to browse through the directory. And as you hover over each of the thumbnails, you'll see 2 different options. You'll see the Add to Network option and the View Portfolio. So we're going to go ahead and just start to add vendors to the network. Again, this is very simple. It's quick. And as you do that, you'll notice this progress bar updates. So it lets you know what percentage of the vacancies within your network have been filled. So we'll continue to go through. Now, the thing that I will talk about here, Laurie, because we get this question all the time, a lot of planners want to know if it's absolutely necessary that they fill all of the vacancies within the network itself. And it's not. You definitely want to make sure that you list as many as you can, because that's going to give you more of an opportunity as a wedding planner to attract couples, but it's not necessary at all. So if you want to, without completing these vacancies here, if you want to proceed to the next level, you can do that. So we'll just make a couple more selections, then we'll move to the next step.
And if they have their own, maybe they didn't find them in the directory, how would they go about adding somebody?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk about that. So if you go down to the directory section, what you would do at that point is over to the far right, there's a pencil icon. And it's here that you would add the additional information. So let's just say you work with TBS Photos. You will put their information there.
Well, that's very easy.
It is. We wanted to make sure, because we were fully aware that this would be a possibility that a lot of planners encountered. So we wanted to make sure that there was a way that they could make sure that they absolutely had access to the vendors that they're accustomed to working with. So just a little more information here. And then here, so you want to make sure, right now, the city that's showing up is Athens. You want to make sure that you click the drop-down box, and you want to pick the closest city to the area that you're located in. So we'll select Atlanta. And then there's one other thing that I need to point out. So right here, the website is really picky about the format of the web address that you enter. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the actual website of that vendor. And if you just do a copy paste, what that will do is it will bring in the prefix information that's associated with that website.
Right.
And then you can submit. So now what you want to do is you just want to press submit. And what that does is it doesn't make that vendor immediately available to you. A notification is sent over to one of our admins. And once we approve that vendor, we add it to the directory, and you'll get a notification letting you know that you can now add them to your network.
Great. That's great. How long approximately would that take to get that notification?
So it depends. It depends on when the admin is aware that the notification has been sent. So it can be as quickly as a minute or two, 2 hours. I'll give you an email, Laurie, that your planners can use to send an email directly to the person that manages that portion of the site. And that way they'll know that the information has been sent over, and they can always update it in real time. So,
right. That's great. Thank you.
So that's pretty much it. So as you can see right now, we're 23% into the process of completing this. And it's the same thing with the other categories. You just want to click on the thumbnail. In doing that, it pulls up wedding videographers for the area that you're in our case, Atlanta. Same thing with the DJs and the bands. So that's the process of setting up your network. What you'll do at this point is you want to click the Go to Dashboard tab. And I guess I'll pause real quick, Laurie, to see if you have any questions in regards to anything that we just covered.
No, I think that this is incredibly easy for wedding planners to do. And I know that you've got a great customer service side of this company and are always so happy to answer any questions that our wedding planners have. And it's very, very simple. So they're just creating their account, and this is their dashboard. They can log into their dashboard anytime they want. So yeah, definitely show them around their dashboard, and because I'm excited for them to be able to tell like when couples are trying to connect with them and things of that nature. Yeah, great. So a couple things that I want to point out to help make sure that your account attracts brides when they visit. So the first thing you want to do is you want to definitely make sure that you upload a thumbnail.
So the way that you do that is you just want to click this pencil here. And what we're going to do is we'll just browse through and we'll go with this photo. And then we'll just crop that.
Oh, cute. Okay.
All right. So during the registration process, it walks you through how to add vendors to the network. After you've gone through the registration process, you will still want to continue to manage and update your vendor network. So the way that you access that information from your dashboard is you want to click on the network tab here. If you want to continue to add vendors to your network, what you do at this point is you just want to click this thumbnail again. Mm-hmm. And it pulls back up a screen similar to what you've seen before. The only difference here is when you're adding vendors manually, that form now appears over to the left. So it's the same format, it's the same structure that we previously went over. So Perfect. That's it. So what I want to do here is I want to show you how to create your portfolio. So to do that, what we want to do is we want to click this drop-down arrow. And what that's going to do is it's going to open up this menu, and we just want to click on Settings. Mm-hmm. And from here, we want to just click on the Listing tab. And then we want to go into the Cover Photo section. So this is where you're going to upload examples of weddings that you've done in the past. So we'll click there. And to do that, you want to go under the Upload New Photo section. And we're just going to go through and we're going to start to add photos to our portfolio. So what we require is that anytime you load a photo, that you list the vendor associated with that particular photo. So these are vendors that we've already added to our network. So we're just going to go in and we're going to link this particular vendor with this photo. And I won't do a lot of these. I'll do 5. I just want you to see what the portfolio looks like. And the really good thing about this is, whereas other wedding websites, they charge vendors to create premium portfolios, we give this to you absolutely free. So it's free for planners because it gives them the ability to display their work without having to encounter those high costs. And we'll do 2 more photos. And did you have any questions while we're doing this, Laurie?
So, when it says your cover photos, they might have assumed that that's the bigger picture where it's kind of behind the profile. But when you say cover photos, you really are talking more for their portfolio so that the couples are able to see some of their work.
Right. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like right now.
Great.
So right now, down at the bottom, you'll see these are the photos that we've uploaded. Now, if you notice that you've uploaded them in an order that you want to change, you can also do that by just dragging and dropping. And then once you rearrange them, you want to make sure to save them. So what we'll do here is up at the top, we'll take a look at the portfolio section to show you where those photos appear as well. So if we go here, same as before, you want to select the photo that you want to have added. Link them to a vendor in your network. I'll do just 1 more. Okay, so what we'll do here is up at the top, you'll see this option for view your profile. And we'll go ahead and click that. For this particular photo, you have to go in and adjust the positioning of it. It's simple to do that. But if you arrow through, you see that this is where the photos appear. And then if we go back to view the profile, so again, these are the first photos that brides are going to see when they're choosing which planner to connect with. But down here at the bottom, these are going to be additional photos that you can list or show within your portfolio. And if you click on them, you'll see it pulls up this nice light box and you can thumb through and the planner, the bride get a better idea of what your work looks like.
That's great.
All right, so that's pretty much everything as it relates to the wedding planner's account. There are a couple of other things that we can go over.
Maybe what we could do now is show our wedding planners from the couple's point of view, because I think it's important for you to kind of show them, if I'm a couple, if I'm logging on to alphabride.com, what do I see? So while you have that pulled up and you're ready to go with that, I want to tell our wedding planners, when your potential couples are logging on to alphabride.com, your couples are going to be able to choose you. And that's why those pictures, your cover photos, your portfolio pictures are important, because you need to have a profile picture so that people can actually see what you look like. And he's going to walk you through all the steps that it's going to take for a couple and how easy it is to find you, and then what they have to do once they find you. Again, I'm going to kind of go back to what you were saying originally. It's just so nice to have a platform that really helps the couples that think that they know everything. They don't think that they need a planner. They think that they can do it all on their own. To have a platform that says, I know you think that, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to hook you up with some wedding planners that are actually going to help you do this, because wedding planners know who's good and who's not, and they can kind of help direct them through the process. Because one of the things that I love about this particular platform is the questionnaire that the wedding planner unlocks to the couple and says, okay, so if you need a photographer, fill out this questionnaire. It's going to give us a better understanding of what it is that you're looking for. And then you have an opportunity to look at this questionnaire. And if they're saying, well, we want to spend $500 on a photographer, but we want them for 12 hours that day, wedding planners know that that's not even a possibility. And what we can do at that point is kind of help them come back into reality. And we can tell them what typically your photographers are going to be charging for these types of things, and ways to kind of adjust that, document. So I'll throw it back over to you so that you can show them exactly what couples see from the moment that they land on alphabride.com, filling out their own account, creating their own account, and then finding a wedding planner.
Right. So let's go ahead and go through that. So what we're doing now is we're creating an account for the bride, and I'm all thumbs over here. I apologize. All right, so we want to list the city again. And so at this point, we want to make sure the wedding couple option is selected.
Yep.
What we're doing at this point is we're gathering information from the wedding couple. And some of this information will be transferred over to the wedding planner.
So now it's adding how many wedding guests are you expecting? That's great. That's good information to have for sure. All their engagement dates. Sweet. Hopefully they'll always remember that date.
Hopefully. I think it's pretty safe to say that most people remember that. All right, so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click Let's Get Started.
So to ask if they had a wedding planner, if they say no, that's great. If it says yes, what happens if they say yes, I already have a planner?
If they say yes, they have a planner, essentially what we do is we check to see whether or not that planner is already registered with AlphaBride. If they are, we send them directly to that planner's profile. And then if they're not, we do exactly what we're doing now, which is to show them a list of planners that they can select from. So we'll go ahead and click Find My Planner. And so this is the thing that we want to avoid. So this is why it's important that you upload a thumbnail to your profile.
Yeah, because they're not, I can tell you right now, a wedding couple is not going to select somebody who doesn't even know how to upload a photograph.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the profile that we've created just recently. So again, this should all look familiar. These are the photos that we uploaded. You've got the additional information here. Now, I do want to point out, only because this section is blank, and perhaps we should have gone over this when we were looking at the planner's profile. So this is where you would describe your services. So you give a brief, overview of how you got started in the company, similar to what you would see on the Knot or Wedding Wire. So this is where that description would go.
It's a little bio.
Yeah, a little bio. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. So once the planner looks through and she identifies with the work that you've done, what she would do is click this form here to request a consultation.
Great.
There's a short form that comes up. She'll select her budget type.
Gotcha.
So here we're asking her to identify the type of services that she's interested in. So you can see we have these options here. For the purpose of this example, we're just going to go with photography.
Yeah.
And then we'll do request consultation. Just upload a photo.
So the bride kind of has her own, or bride or groom have their own little account where they can upload their own photos or what have you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. We wanted to make sure that the accounts kind of mirror each other, but they have different functions that are available to each of the user types. So the bride's account looks very similar to what the planner and the vendor sees, but each of those accounts have different functions and features that are available to them based on what each of them would need. So we're going to close out that video. Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to do now, Laurie, is I'm going to pull back up the screen for the wedding planner. So let me know if and when you can see that. So give me just a second here. Can you see the planner's account right now?
No, I think you probably would have to, back out and then go back in. Yeah. Okay, now I can see Monica. Yep.
Okay, so we see Monica. So anytime a bride requests a consultation from a planner, that notification, so an indication that a notification is available will appear here. So if we click here, we can see you have a request for a consultation from Laurie. Okay. You could also access that information here.
Oh.
So this is the thumbnail that we just uploaded. Yep. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And this is the basic information that we provide for the planner at the start of this process. So this is the name of the bride. This is the budget type. This is the wedding date, telephone number, email address. And what you want to do as a planner at this point is we do give you the option to accept or decline. We're going to go ahead and accept. And once you've accepted the request for consultation, what you want to do is you want to pick up the phone, you want to have the 30-minute consultation. And it's here that you want to get to know a little bit more about what the wedding couple is looking for, find out what her budget type is, and just gather all the information that you would need to help her complete the process of onboarding vendors through our platform. So I'll stop for a second, Laurie, to see if you have any questions that you may have that might be helpful in explaining this process.
So your suggestion to your AlphaBride wedding planners would be, as soon as you accept that invitation, go ahead and call them as soon as possible. Instead of waiting for maybe an email to get sent out to schedule that consultation, you suggest that you would kind of prefer them to just go ahead and call them. Yeah,
you definitely want to go ahead and make contact with them. So what we'll do now is we'll assume that the conversation has taken place. And the wedding planner has instructed the bride to start filling out the online form that you talked about. Okay. So let me just toggle back over. But essentially what you want to do is you want to direct her to the projects tab. So she'll click here. And as we can see, we don't currently have a project created. But to do that, all we do is click the Create Project tab. So I'll go over the composition of this page as well, so we'll know exactly what we're looking at as I go through it. So up at the top, these categories are indicative of the information that appears throughout the rest of this form. This section allows back and forth communication between the bride and the planner. And then this is the form itself. And then over here to the far left, This is a progress bar. So it lets you know where you are in the process of actually having the vendors join the site and start the process of submitting the price proposals. So if you ever get lost in regards to where you are and how much is left to complete the process, you can refer to this section to kind of help gain your bearings. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just fill out some of the information.
So they're looking for a photographer. Their date is already filled in because they've already selected that when they created their own account. So now they just want a time frame for the service request. So they're basically asking the couple, what time do you want the photographer to arrive and what time do you want them to head out?
Absolutely. Right. And so we have everything segmented off. We're basically asking if you want a photographer for the pre-ceremony. So we'll select yes. It's asking how many photographers. We'll say one. You just want to go through, you want to read each of these questions, or the bride wants to read each of these questions and just reference her preference. If there are any specific notes that she needs to leave in regards to the pre-ceremony, so perhaps bride and groom are getting dressed in two separate locations.
Yeah, they would be able to fill out all of that information so that when the photographer gets this particular piece of information, they will know exactly what the couple is looking for.
Exactly. So do you need coverage for the pre-ceremony? For the ceremony? Yes, we'll go with 2. Again, we won't read through each of these questions now just to try to help keep the video not too long. So here, coverage for the reception. So at this point, what she would do is just one last piece of information. So these are all the customization options, whether or not she needs coverage for rehearsal dinner, whether or not she wants her photos to be photoshopped or airbrushed. And again, we can read through those later, but we'll just proceed to the next step. At this point, the bride wants to send this information over to the wedding planner to review. So that's pretty much everything as it relates to the wedding planner's account. There are a couple of other things that we can go over for you to see what the interaction looks like between the couple and the planner. Did you want to do that now, Laurie, or?
How about we'll hold off when everybody has their account pulled up, I think that, or created, and then I think we can kind of go back in and show them the network side of things. It's very interesting. I love how it works. Well, great. Thank you so much, Sterlin, for kind of explaining how a wedding planner is going to create their account, and also from the couple's perspective, what it looks like on their end. That really kind of helps kind of explain what everybody's perspective is. And what you and I will do, Sterlin, is how about we just schedule a time where we invite all of my wedding planners, and once they create their account, we can go into even more detail, and we can do that at a later date. So that sounds like something we should do. And how about for now, let's talk about how much they can potentially earn. So I'm going to kind of hand it back over to you, and you can explain that for us.
Absolutely, I'd love to. So what I want to do is quickly share my screen, and I think the best way to talk about earnings is to look at the way planners get paid today. So if we look at the service for the month of coordinator, what we know is that planners typically earn anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500. And that comes at an investment of approximately 20 hours to complete the service from start to finish. By contrast, planners can expect to earn the same amount of money using our platform and our process within an average of 5 to 6 hours. So to put that in perspective, we're looking at roughly the same amount of earnings in less than 14 hours of what it would take to accomplish those same numbers as a month of service provider. And so those numbers reflect the potential earnings on a weekly basis. And if you extrapolate those numbers over the course of a month or a year, it would give you a better understanding of what the earning potential is on our platform on more of a long-term basis.
And I think that that's awesome. And And these couples, let's remind them, Sterlin, these couples would never have normally thought that they could have hired or could afford a wedding planner. So we are connecting, when I say we, I mean you. You're connecting these couples to these wedding planners, and these wedding planners can still get paid from all of those couples that never would have even considered us. And I think that that's just something really special, and there's really not anything out there like AlphaBride in that way. And I feel like that's what makes AlphaBride so incredibly special and unique and different. Couples, let's just be real. And I know that you'll agree with me, Sterlin. Couples, that 70% of couples that normally wouldn't hire planners, they're still planning their wedding. They're still hiring wedding professionals. And this way, the reason why they're selecting AlphaBride is because these vendors are bidding, and that means that they're getting a little bit of a lower rate. They can save anywhere from 20 to 30% on these wedding professionals. That's why they're going through AlphaBride in the first place, but yet the wedding planner is going to be assisting them to find really great wedding professionals to fit their budget, to fit their needs, fit their style. So the wedding planner is still getting paid for assisting these couples. And these couples are not actually paying the wedding planner. AlphaBride is paying the wedding planner. So it's just a very unique, different experience. So for that reason, I'm just very grateful for having met you and worked with you for the last year to really create something pretty special. And so I'm excited for our wedding planners to meet you and to learn all of the different ways that that they can really utilize this platform. Because again, wedding planners, you guys can always connect with these couples after the whole process of selecting the wedding professionals on the platform is over. You can always upgrade them to month of or even more. So,
yeah. And so one thing, just if I could just interject real quick. So you pointed out that through our platform, they're able to save up to, somewhere between 20 and 30%. So it's important to note that that savings might help put them in the position where now it is a little more affordable for them to consider hiring a wedding planner. So it is extremely beneficial for all of the parties involved. And again, we're excited to have the opportunity to make this available to members of the Bridal Society.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, and I can't wait to hear about it either. So, well, great. Well, to my wedding members, the Bridal Society members, thank you for joining us on this video, and thank you so much to Sterlin for just really kind of explaining everything, and I can't wait to explain even more to them. So what we'll do, wedding planners, is we will, Sterlin and I will come up with another date after you have already created your account. And once you created your account, let's go into a little bit more detail on our next video, and we'll do it live for everybody too, so that they can ask questions in real time. So I hope all of you have a really great day, and thanks so much for joining us, and thank you to Sterlin for providing this really wonderful platform.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Laurie.